so that if they're sitting in a situation where I got the lowest score in my maths test, my spelling test was a disaster, I was last in the running race, but I got the lead role in the school production. There's my thing. And everybody needs at least one avenue or aspect of their life that they are really good at.
Kia ora, welcome to the Invisible Sensei podcast. My name is Tuari Dawson, and for the last 4.5 decades I have practiced the martial arts in both the indigenous Māori traditions of Aotearoa, my home, and in the wonderful arts of karate, kobudo, and jiu-jitsu. But more than that, I am a fan of all martial arts and martial artists. So here are some of my own thoughts on the subject, as well as interviews with some great sensei and instructors from around the world. And lastly, it's something of a cliche, I know, but do me a favor and click the link in the description for our merch shop, as well as other ways to support the podcast. It really does help. Also, check out our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. If you like what you hear, please share our content. Again, it really helps us to continue to create content we believe in. And remember, it's not what you say when everyone's listening, it's what you practice when no one is watching that makes all the difference.
And the other thing I really believe we need to help people learn is resilience. And I believe karate teaches that. You know, you get a good old punch and you come back. It's resilience. That is likened to life. Things are going to knock you down. What do? All right, you can have a day to lick your wounds, feel sorry for yourself, but what do you do after that? You come back. You come back better, you come back stronger, but you can't come back on your own. And I'm always going on about, you know, the good old fashioned saying, it takes a village. It really does. It takes a community, it takes a whānau, it takes whatever is there, the people who are your people. And you need to have your people to back you, support you, pick you up and say, okay, we helped you stand, now go. And I believe in the dojo that also offers a lot of that to people. I know with our Udansha gradings, especially, you know, Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, and of the younger students, I push them really, really hard. So yes, of course, we test everything, but I push them to the point where they feel they can't anymore, whether it is doing burpees or and you know, you've also got to be aware of their physical abilities and injuries. So some will be really pushed hard on the push-ups, others will be doing burpees, others will be doing squats. But what I do is I use that as a part of their grading. So they'll do a kata and then suddenly I'll go, and 50 squats, go, or 50 burpees, go. And we do that throughout the grading. So, and towards the end, they're absolutely exhausted. They feel like they cannot move. And I say to them, you will keep going. And I warn them beforehand. I tell them it might not look like a burpee anymore. It might not look like a push-up anymore, but you keep going. You keep going to the point where your body says, I can't anymore. And you say, tough luck, you're going to. You're going to do another one and another one and another one. And that mental breakthrough, I believe, does so much for the person. And I say to them, you know, this could help you survive in life. If you're out on a kayak somewhere in the middle of the ocean and it overturns and there's nobody in sight, what are you going to do? You're going to give up? You're going to give up and let the sea take you under? Or are you going to hang in there for hours and hours? You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be sunburned. You're going to have swallowed an ocean. But are you going to survive? Yes, you are. Yes, you are, because you have taken yourself through that and come out the other side. So you know what it's like. And that is, you can liken that to everything and anything in life. So we've all had knocks in life where we've wondered how we're ever going to get through a situation, but we do. We don't go down. We come back. We choose a different path, we choose a different approach, and we just make it work. And I really believe that what martial arts offers, with that support of a community and that sheer I'm going to survive, that resilience, is what gets us through in life in general.
Resilience is definitely something which it seems, I feel like my grandparents when I say this, but the young people are definitely lacking these days. I'm sure they said the same thing about me. Now, I think you've touched on a lot of really excellent points. I think the idea of resilience is a value and something to strive for. The idea that all it takes is someone to recognize something unique in you and actually speak that out to you. So let me ask you, who was that person in your life? Who was that person who recognized in you that you had some skill and ability and you had some talent and in terms of what you wanted to do and encouraged you to continue?
I think there's been quite a few people who've influenced my life. I absolutely adored my father. Look, I had great parents, my mom as well, but my dad, I always looked up to him. And so he was definitely one to encourage me. Both my parents supported my karate journey once they agreed and allowed me to do it. But yeah, so I had a lot of support from them, encouragement there. I remember my science teacher identifying that I had a talent to be a school teacher. So yeah, and I actually can't even remember the lady's name, but I remember her just out of the blue saying this to me, and I looked and I went, "Oh, okay, food for thought." And well, she was right. I would say that Teruo Chinen Sensei has had a huge, huge impact on me. I remember him giving me my third dan and congratulating me on having the flavor. And I remember looking at him going, "Am I a tasty morsel?" I remember going home and telling my parents this, and they going, "What does that actually mean?" And I said, "Not sure." But it sounded great. It sounded like it was a huge compliment. And it only took me many years later to actually understand what he was saying to me the day he handed me my third dan. I believe it was my third dan. Yes, it was the day he handed me my third dan. So I would say those people have had a great influence on me. And of course, my wife, Molly, has just, she's made me look at things and situations in life. And in doing so has taught me to evaluate and assess things, and to step back and observe, not just to jump in and go. So yeah, I'd say those people are the great influences in my life.
We could actually have a podcast all on its own, with your wife being a yondan and mine being a sandan, and just sort of how you navigate the world of martial arts from a couple's perspective. That would be a whole. We're going to definitely do this again, which that's all we're going to talk about because I want some answers from the work that you're doing in terms of your own approach. I know for me, having that one person in my life who said that they could see something in me. For myself, it was my grandmother. I think you talked also about finding something. Everyone's a sensei in something. Everyone has an ability in something, and I think finding it and nurturing it is so important. In terms of your own training, and I know that you've got a trip coming up in March back to Okinawa.
Yes, very excited about that.
Very much looking forward to that. So, you spoke about Hanshi Kiichi Nakamoto. What is it that he has brought to your karate, your understanding and your practice of karate?
He's really influenced my Kobujutsu. Prior to that, I hadn't had very, very little knowledge or understanding around that. being in his dojo, getting to know him as a person has made me or confirmed my belief of what a teacher should be. He's friendly, he's warm, he's welcoming. He opens his dojo to you. He gives you a key and says, "Come train." If he manages to come down, because his dojo is attached to his house, he comes down the steps. The next thing, there he is. He's walking around. He has no English. I have no Japanese. But he'll walk around. He'll correct. He'll try and teach. And you can hear by the way he speaks. It is with so much respect for his students. He'll often come up and just jabber off to me in Japanese, and I just stand there nodding and not quite knowing. And then he'll pack up laughing, and he'll go and get Takuma Sensei, his grandson, who speaks English really well. And then Takuma Sensei will come and explain to me the way they teach. When Takuma Sensei is in the dojo, he will say things like, "Please, can I ask you to do this and this with the weapon? Just try. Let's try again." It's not this, "Oh, that's wrong, fix it up." It's just, "Please, let's try again." And you try, "Oh, much better. Thank you. Thank you. That's so much better. Okay, please, can we try this now?" And you just think, wow, that whole way of teaching is done with so much respect and a genuine interest in you as the individual. And you can see such a sense of pride when he stands there and he looks at the people training in his dojo. Around the island, he's an absolute hero to everybody there, but he just drives along very happily. It's as though he's oblivious to it, although I'm sure he's not. So all of that has just confirmed and supports what has been my belief and what I have tried to impart and develop within me as a person all these years. Then, of course, there is just being able to learn from someone who is, I believe he's 95 now, who is a direct student of Chojun Miyagi, of Eiichiro Miyazato, and have that passed on in your karate, when he's looked at my katas and corrected me and complimented me. And it's incredible. And don't know how much longer we're going to have him with us, but it's just a beautiful, wonderful experience to be his student, to have him come and be in my dojo here in New Zealand, and for me to have been there and to be there yet again in March, which is just going to be something absolutely amazing. And it's also just so wonderful to be able to do this along with the Dentokan group, because it's really thanks to them that this whole trip is happening. So I cannot wait. It's going to be an incredible experience.
There was a whole bunch of questions that I was going to ask, but you just kind of made them they're not necessary, because you killed it. Rokudan, well done. You've just achieved your podcast with Rokudan. That's what you've always wanted. Is there anything that you want to go out? I want to give you the final word, Shihan. Is there any message that you want to give out to people? Because we're very lucky in that quite a few countries listen to the podcast and watch it on YouTube. If you're listening to this, jump on the YouTube page. It's in the link tree. If you're watching this, jump on the anchors and find the podcast. I'm also going to put some links in the liner so you can contact Cheketrei Sensei directly, see what she's about, see the dojo, and see the fantastic work she's doing. So, having yammered on and said all that, Cheketrei Shihan, final word to you.
Well, anything you're passionate about, anything you're interested in, anything that challenges you, give it a go. Make sure you've got the support, you've got the people surrounding you that can support you emotionally, physically, and very much in the technique or skills that you are embarking on. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. It's okay to take a knock. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to recover, but make sure you recover. Make sure you find people who help you to recover. Stand up and start again, or improve on whatever you were doing. Just keep going. And I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Sensei. It's been an honor being on your podcast. I've loved it. I've loved the discussions you and I have had. I think we're kindred spirits in the martial arts, and I really look forward to continuing our chats, discussions, and journey together.